Good morning, everyone. I hope you all had a good weekend. And were you like me, and possibly Mr. Craddock, watching NASA TV live on Saturday evening at 10 o'clock for the test of the engines for the rocket that's going to send people back onto the moon in the not too distant future? It was quite exciting, particularly if you like rockets. So if you missed it, look it up. NASA Artemis rocket engine test. Very impressive. So let's start with some photos of the week. And Sophia sent this one in off the beach. Very nice. So quite mysterious, those cruise ships. She took that after school at the end of last week and sent that in. And those outlines of the ships on the horizon, very beautiful. Thank you, Sophia. And I saw some signs of spring when I was out on a walk on Sunday. What did I see? Catkins. I love catkins, or lamb's tails, as they're also called. And they are always, to me, they're always a sign of spring. Ever since I was a little girl, I used to carry a little stick and wait and shake them. And a number of trees have catkins. So you have willow or birch or sweet chestnut. Keep your eyes open for these. They are in the trees at the moment. Good sign of spring. And another one that I was really delighted to see. Let's have a look. Very pleased with these. I just thought I might see some. And I went out for a walk in Dorset. I went to Morton to go and find the church where Lawrence of Arabia, T.E. Lawrence, is buried. And next to the graveside, I spotted these snowdrops. Very beautiful. So that means, everybody, spring is on its way. Spring is on its way. We have catkins, we have snowdrops. Fantastic. Now, last week, a little gift appeared on my desk. It was a surprise. I'd come into work and it wasn't my birthday. No special reason. It was just a little gift from somebody who said, I thought you might enjoy this, and you're keeping us going and positive during the pandemic, and this is something to keep you going. And it was lovely, and I opened it. And it was a book, a copy of a book. Let's have a look. So this book is called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse, and it's a hardback book. It's very beautiful, and it's illustrations, and it's got a sort of storyline, but it could be for any age. Doesn't matter if you're a child or an adult, age 3 to 83. It's been made by Charlie Makesy, and it has sold over 1.4 million copies and has been on the bestseller list for over a year, 55 weeks so far on the bestseller list. So let's have a look. We've got a photograph of the author. There's Charlie Makesy. He's there in his garden. Charlie never went to art school, but he always enjoyed drawing. And he spent 3 months in America shadowing a portrait painter and looking particularly at anatomy, how to draw. How do you draw people? How do you draw animals, figures, shapes? And kept practicing. And you can see that in this book really well. He became a cartoonist for a magazine called The Spectator. And then he started becoming an illustrator of books and for publishing companies. So let's hear Charlie talk about how he made this book, and let's watch him produce one of the pages.
The book, yes, it's called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. And it is centrally about a boy, a mole, a fox and a horse. And it's about their friendship, their conversation, what they think about life, how they relate to each other. It's about their fears, their dreams, their hopes, what they struggle with. It's really a graphic, small graphic novel of images with conversation over landscape. You've got the boy who's naturally inquisitive. He's probably about 6 or 7, asking questions, usually. And the horse answers them, the mole has answers, the fox rarely speaks. The fox is being damaged by life, so he's silent, essentially, but they love him. But he's silent. So the 4 of them just meander around, looking at things and chatting. There's no real narrative like this happened and then this happened and here they are, and then, there are 1 or 2 events, but essentially the conversations are other book, and it's actually a very simple book. I wish I could describe it in a really like clear way, but it's a book that I think, in essence, would need to be discovered, and it's a bit like trying to describe a cat. It's very, if you've never seen or met a cat, it's quite hard to describe, but it's a very simple little narrative, almost a narrative about these guys. And into vulnerability, they're quite vulnerable with each other. They dare to be vulnerable, which makes them closer. It's that kind of thing. And it's really for anyone. It's Maya, who's 3. My mum's 88. So anything between, yeah. And also, I think, when I was doing the early drawings, I have an Instagram account, and I would put the drawings on the account, and I really loved reading and responding to people and how they felt about the drawings. And I have quite a lot of people going, yeah, my son's struggling with this, or I am struggling with that, or I've got a horse like this. Yeah, the answers were so varied and moving, and they really helped me sort of generate the conversations and the direction of the conversations. And so I'm really grateful to them, because they helped generate the energy. I was terrible. I was really bad at treating myself well, and I've learned to sort of love myself. So all those things, the things I think I probably learned in life, I'm trying to sort of distill and simplify right down into these little people, because hopefully someone somewhere will get something from them. I have no idea, when you do a bit like this, which is quite open-ended, and it's asking questions, and it's not, there's a lot of space in the book for people to fill in. Physically as well, there are blank pages, and I hope they scribble on them, and I hope they make a mess of the book and write their own answers in them. And, I think I have no idea how people will feel. There's some might not like it at all, some might think it's a bit odd, some might, I don't know, but I like to think that everyone has a completely unique response to it. And if I had to say what I would love them to feel, I'd like it really to stimulate like conversation, and for friendships to grow out of the conversations, and for it to stimulate honesty. I know for a long time I never dared really say how I felt about life. So just to catalyse good things that help people live more deeply, probably.
So it's a really beautiful book, and it's a work of art, as much of a story. And each page, you could see he was making one there, has a sort of image and then some statements on it underneath. And it's been done with ink. And interestingly, it was published in 2019, before coronavirus existed, before the pandemic, and yet the book really resonates because it makes you think about life, it makes you think quite deeply, makes you appreciate what you have. So I'm going to show you some of my favourite pages. Let's have a look at them now. So this one, I really liked. It comes at the start of the book. What do you want to be when you grow up? Kind, said the boy. Now, if anybody asks you that, you probably think, oh, maybe astronaut or teacher or historian. But actually, to put an adjective in there, kind, if you can be kind to your life, great, really great answer. And I think it's just a different perspective to something which is a really standard question. And that was you could see he was drawing the boy and the mole on the branch again. Let's have a look at the next one. I'm so small, said the mole. Yes, said the boy, but you make a huge difference. So there again, I've often spoken to you about the impact small actions can make. A smile, a helpful gesture, some kindness. I really loved, I loved the expression on the boy, even though there are no eyes. You can see they're looking really closely at one another, and you can tell that he's really studied human form and animal form to get these gestures. Right, let's have a look at the next one. One of our greatest freedoms is how we react to things. There again, you saw him drawing and with that fine line, but very few little lines, but capturing that conversation going on, those two characters sitting, talking. So we have freedom, even when we're in constraint. We're constrained in a pandemic, we're in lockdown, we're not allowed to do certain things, but we do have the freedom as to how we react to things. And people have said that you have a choice, even when you think you don't. You can respond positively to your circumstances, or you can respond negatively, but you have that freedom. Right, next one. Another view of mindfulness. I've learned how to be in the present. How? Asked the boy. I find a quiet spot and shut my eyes and breathe. That's good. And then I focus. What do you focus on? Cake, said the mole. The mole is a big fan of cake, and there's some really beautiful illustrations of cake in this book, if you like them, and some quite philosophical thoughts on cake. Right, next one. This one, very loose drawing, and you've got to look at it quite closely. They're looking, and there's reflections, and you can see their reflections in the water. Isn't it odd? We can only see our outsides, but nearly everything happens on the inside. You know, in a society where Instagram and images and the surface seems to be so prominent, actually what goes on most of all, we can't see at all. Next one. So much beauty we need to look after. And I really loved this. He's obviously coloured it in. Different pages have different textures to them. And this one, he's taken a bit of coloured ink and put some washes on and really given a little more depth. And I love that darkness at the bottom there, that sort of indigo blue of the night sky. There again, I think in this pandemic, we've been looking at nature and looking at our planet and thinking we must do something. There is such beauty here, and we have a responsibility as citizens to look after it. Right, let's have a look at the next page. This is towards the very end of the book. Home isn't always a place, is it? And I think that struck a chord with me. You know, we may be separated from people we love, other extended family members, parents, grandparents, but you don't have to be in one place to be at home. You can find sort of that within yourselves. I love the fact that you've got Mole Boy and the fox sitting on the horse. And those of you who've attempted to draw horses, they're difficult to draw, but he's done them beautifully, really well observed. Right, so let's have a look. What's your best discovery? Asked the mole. That I'm enough as I am, said the boy. We've had a lot about mental health and looking after yourself and being kind to yourself. He said the author and the illustrator, Charlie, he's been through phases in his life when he hasn't, and he feels now he needs to acknowledge that and be kind to himself. And I am enough as I am. Don't need to strive to be something you are not. I love the fact that the fox is tucked up so closely to the boy there. Let's have a look at the next one, please. I thought this was perfect for this time. When the big things feel out of control, focus on what you love right under your nose. So if circumstances around us feel slightly beyond anything that we can control, look down at them in the middle there. What's right under your nose? What do you love? Focus on that, and that will ground you. So I chose that last page to finish on. I think really it reflects our condition now. So what do I say to you? I say take time out in your days to lose yourself in a book. Take time to pick up a pen, draw, sketch, doodle, or write as a way of sort of just processing your feelings. They call it journaling, and a number of mental health professionals will advise this. You know, just take a notebook and a pen, write down your thoughts, how you're feeling, what have you seen today, and that just helps you to work through your feelings about the day and helps to ground you. So take a leaf out of Charlie's book, turn to your creativity. If you love illustrations, have a look at this book. If you can get hold of a copy, it's really beautiful. Right, I have a notice now. Many thanks. This is from Mrs. Linden. It's a notice to our sports scholars. On Friday the 22nd, 6 to 7 p.m. on Zoom, we have another talk. This time it is from Sarah Longson, who is an ex-England ladies chess player and an ex-British champion. And it will be very interesting, especially when thinking about strategy and sports psychology. And it'll be applicable to all of you, regardless of what sport that you do. So please, if you're a sports scholar or if you're just interested in that, look forward to seeing you there. And that's from Mrs. Linden. Right, we start our week with a prayer. Are you there, Jonathan?
Yes, indeed. And we hope it's a good week. And I love the book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. I gave it to one of my granddaughters last year, and I was a bit sad to give it to her. I'd like to have kept it, really. So as we pray, we give thanks. We remember that as humans, we have those creative gifts. Help us to enjoy the skills of writing and drawing, or the satisfaction of losing ourselves in a good book. For all that makes us uniquely human and helps us to relate to the world around us. We thank you, O God. Amen.
Amen. Have a fantastic week, everybody. You can see the sun shining. It's so bright through my window that I'm almost just a haze. Spring is on its way, everyone. Bye.